Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio. I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. And when I started this show in 2008, I was on a mission to promote women-owned businesses and help women succeed by providing resources and valuable tips from other women and men, small business owners. In each interview, my guests speak openly about their triumphs, the scary times, and tough decisions they had to make along the way. Women Entrepreneurs Radio is about showing women how to harness their natural strengths to achieve success on their own terms. Hello everyone, welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio, and I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm really glad that you could join me today. And if you're listening to this recording on Podomatic, then you can also listen on iTunes. And if you come to womenentrepreneursecrets.com, you'll find different links there for you to subscribe to the show. And also some links to subscribe if you are on Android. So different ways you can catch up with the show, and I hope you will do that. So I'm introducing now my guest for today, Shirin Behzadi, and she's the CEO of Home Franchise Concepts. At 1,300 franchisees operating in 9,000 North American cities, it's one of the largest franchise operations in the world. The three direct-to-consumer brands under Shirin's supervision, Budget Blinds, Window Coverings, Tailored Living, Home, Garage, and Closet Organization, and Concrete Craft, Outdoor Patio Refinishing, are consistently number one in their categories. Shirin, one of the relatively few female CEOs in the multi-brand franchising space, has dedicated her life to helping franchisees, including mompreneurs, enterprising millennials, and entrepreneurial-minded veterans, realize their financial and personal dreams. As an entrepreneur herself and mother of two, she has her own compelling personal journey success story to tell. And I'm really looking forward to hearing that. So, Shirin, welcome to the show. I'm really glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, why don't you please share with us what was your route to get to where you are right now as the CEO?
Well, I am a CPA by profession, and I worked for a large accounting firm. And wanting to be a mom at some point, I took a look at the working hours and I decided I really wanted to do something different. I wanted to be, not that I wanted to necessarily work less, but I wanted to be more in charge of my own hours and my destiny. Mm-hmm. So with that, I started being an offsite CFO, and that's how I came across Budget Blinds in 1999. As such, I was the offsite CFO, and then soon it became a really good partnership, and we've grown the company. It's exciting because the company provides opportunities to enterprising individuals, much like I am and was, and a lot of moms, and like you call them mompreneurs, the chance to own their own destiny, own their own lives, and not be tied to 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic, because a lot of people are looking more and more into business these days from what I have, talked about and seen, particularly a lot of articles, of course, and interest in people starting their own thing, whether they do it on the side or whether they do it full time. So, we want to talk today about how to strike that work-life balance as an entrepreneur. So, particularly talking, I guess, on mompreneurs, well, it doesn't have to specifically be for those folks. How would you say that you've been able to manage that yourself in terms of the enormous responsibilities you have, and also with striking, the balance for your personal side?
Oh, thanks. That's a very good question, and isn't it at sort of the heart of the concern so many of us have?
Yes.
For me, it had to do with really focusing on what's important to me. Mm-hmm. And having that sort of as my true north. Where is it that what do I want to be considered? Am I going to be someone who's purely focused on her career, or having a balance is most significant. And for me, having that balance was important. And so making that a priority allowed me to make all of my decisions bouncing it off of that one principle. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's because of that I was able to step out of potential opportunities that didn't fit it. And at the same time, those that did, I would thrive on. And that's exactly what we do at Home Franchise Concepts. And frankly, that's one of the main reasons we've established things the way we have at Home Franchise Concepts, because the goal is to say, we want to provide a place where if someone's enterprising and want to own their own business, why don't we create opportunities, put them in touch with products, programs, and services, and support them through success so that they can have their flexibility with their time. If there are not too many home improvement emergencies, so people can plan around their day. If they choose to work weekends, they can. If they don't want to, they don't have to. And as well provide opportunities that are scalable. And I don't think we could have landed on those goals if I hadn't lived it myself. I wanted to be successful. I knew I had the desire to be successful, but I also knew it was very important for me to have a balanced home work life. And it was because of that as having a goal that I finally was able to accomplish it. And it's not easy. It's a constant juggling act, but it is one that if you keep your principle in mind, you can accomplish.
Those are really excellent points. And it would seem that, from the offerings that you have, the different brands we mentioned before, that there really is something for everyone in terms of, different people who may want to go into franchising and then realize, well, how can I pick something that I think aligns with what I want to do? It sounds like there's a lot of variety here.
Yes. Like I said, that was by design, right? We wanted to make sure that we don't expect, there's some capital investment up front, but we wanted to make sure it's reasonable and ongoing capital expenditures are reasonable. And we wanted people to be able to get into and enter into one of our concepts from any walk of life. So you don't have to be an installer, you don't have to be a designer, you don't have to have a major background in running your business. You just need to have the desire to be successful and to own your own business. And our job is to do the heavy lifting of creating a concept and making sure that products and programs and services are in place to see to your success.
That's fantastic. And I think that's really great news for those people listening in who may have heard about, different franchises, but not really understand what they have to do or, if it's something that's really viable for them. Do you find that when you're, talking to people, interacting with them, that they may not realize what they have to do as a franchisee? And what I mean by that is a lot of times people think of starting a business, they think they have to do everything from the ground up, and it may seem very overwhelming and intimidating. But it sounds to me like there's a lot of things in place when you're a franchisee that really help you along the way.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the beauty of being a part of a franchise system. And one thing I didn't mention as effectively previously is to really explain that we do have people from all walks of life. We have Gen Xers, we have millennials, we have moms, we have dads, we have veterans, we have executives, we have people from any and all backgrounds. And why franchising, especially our concept, because we've been around for such a long time, so appealing is this, that we can provide the opportunity for someone who wants to own their own business, but if they were to go do it on their own, they would have to learn everything from scratch. When you get in touch with one of our systems, it's a tried and true system. We've taken the collective intelligence of our franchisees, years in the business of understanding how to best get to market, and as well pooling of the purchasing power of our franchises to negotiate the best products and programs. So basically, you'll enter a business for yourself. You're independently owned and operated, but you have access to the knowledge, the know-how, and the systems that we've been able to put together by the collective effort and experience of your own fellow franchisees. And let's not forget one other thing. Being an entrepreneur, if you're completely on your own, is kind of lonely. You're out there doing things on your own, not exactly sure if you're making all the right steps. Whereas when you're part of a franchise system, especially ones that we have, that have been around a long time, you have fellow franchisees you can reach out to. You have fellow franchisees that you get to visit with and attend conventions and meetings and learn from them and, share stories. So there is definitely a lot of advantages that way as well.
That's true. It sounds like it's people really do feel isolated. A lot of times when I talk to people, and I can understand that a lot of times when you're working by yourself, even if you go out and network, still a lot of times you're on your own, and there are times when you may want to ask questions, but then now what can you do because it's just you,
right? Yeah.
It's not quite.
And there's more of a strength, and there's also a strength of a shared voice.
Yes.
So because we're so many franchises, just marketing works that way. When you're in your own territory, you represent a bigger brand effectively, and so it helps consumers to have better name recognition and understand what you're about and know that you're supported by a larger system.
That's true. That's the excellent point. So, I know for a lot of entrepreneurs, there's the idea of really people not always knowing how to stop working. They're always wanting to do more because they're enjoying what they're doing, and with the responsibilities you have, and I'm sure the excitement you have about what you're doing. Is it ever a time that you feel like, okay, I have to stop and just take a break, or okay, that's it for the day, I'm going to go and do something else? How do you set up your own balance, for yourself?
Oh, what a good question. I think that is why it's important to know why you're doing what you're doing. And if the reason, for me, I answer two whys. Why am I personally doing this, and why do I want to continue doing it? So on the one hand, I do it because I want to have an impact in the world, but I also want a work-life balance. And if I remind myself that that's why I'm doing it, to continue to have a work-life balance, when I reach junctures where I have to make a decision, I'll make it the right way. Is this the best for my goal, which is to have a balance in life, as opposed to going extreme one way or another? And the other thing is why I'm doing it in a more global sense. Why am I in this world of franchising, and why is this an important line of work for me personally, is to help other folks that are enterprising own their own destiny and own their own lives. So it is ultimately about making sure every franchisee is as successful as he or she wants to be. And if I don't have the right mindset and not stay true to the balance that I need to strike, I will not be able to relay the same to them, and as well create programs to allow them to think the same. We have some effective, very strong coaching and support programs here at Home Franchise Concepts. And with that, with these coaching plans, we as well teach franchisees not just about fundamentals of business and financials. We also help them with time management. We also help them understand how to strike that balance.
I can see why that's extremely important, because a lot of times people, their time seems to get away from them, or they have good intentions, but they're not always able to get things going the way they like, especially in a world of distractions. And with social media, it seems like there's so many more distractions for us to actually get anything done. It should make things easier, but it seems it's just one more thing that now is going to take you away from what you're doing, because you can kind of get lost in all these other things that really aren't part of your immediate focus. So I think being able to manage, is a challenge. I think that kind of comes with the territory, actually. So, where do you see home franchise concepts going? I know it's most definitely going to grow, but, do you have some thoughts about where you'd like to see things to go in the future?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do I? Well, first of all, we have, as you explained, 3 brands. Budget Blinds, which is custom window coverings, Tailored Living, which is whole home organization, and Concrete Craft, which is the only franchise system that brings decorative concrete and coating to folks. And so we want to make sure that every franchisee that owns one of those concepts under home franchise concepts is as successful as they want to be. So that's our number one priority. Why that's important is that if every franchisee is as successful as they want to be, we have an energized, positive system that's healthy. Mm-hmm. At the same time, we have the goal of expanding our footprint with each of those brands. So with some of them, we've been around longer than others, but we want to continue to expand to have 100% coverage in North America and, of course, beyond as things work out. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, we want to add new brands. The ultimate goal is for home franchise concepts to be the place to go to, the home for anybody who wants to own their own business and is interested in home-related services and products. We want to be able to offer different opportunities. We currently have 3, and we believe we can have multiple. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be great at some days also for a consumer when they're thinking of home improvement to think of home franchise concepts? And that's in the mind of the consumer, because it would be ideal at some point for us to be the place to go to for someone who wants to do anything home improvement if we get to expand our brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true. I think that's important for people to know, when they're looking for something, then that's what's going to pop into their head first. And then they're going to,
right.
they're going to go for that first, because just the awareness is so important in terms of getting out there. Do you feel, speaking of that, do you feel that there's some maybe things that people may think about franchises that really aren't accurate? Do you find sometimes that people may not really understand what it's about?
Oh, well, I think some franchise organizations probably have created the kind of persona or misunderstanding in people's minds that wouldn't be to the benefit of the entire, world of franchising. Mm-hmm. There are some franchise organizations out there that really aren't about franchisees' success. They're more about themselves. Mm-hmm. Those are folks that don't stick around long enough, because people will in time learn that's, not really what they signed up to get. So one is the misunderstanding potentially in the marketplace that there isn't as much value to a franchise system as there really could be. Mm-hmm. That's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that people may think that in order to own a franchise, they need to be able to invest hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, because most franchise systems sell something that requires a brick and mortar and lots of equipment, and it's generally expensive and difficult to get into. Mm-hmm. That is where we shine. What we've done, by design, by the way, is to provide franchise ownership opportunity to people for substantially less. There is an investment, but it's definitely more affordable for a larger population. But at the same time, bringing them the best-in-class service, products, innovation, and market leadership. Mm-hmm. So we've understood and known the two ends of the spectrum that may be out there, and we believe that we've brought the sweet spot to the general population.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, it's good to have the advantages and the truth out there, because there's a lot of things, in terms even of business ownership that people may not really understand. And a lot of fallacies get repeated by people who aren't really sure, they don't know, or someone did something and it didn't work, and then they repeat that to everyone else, and they don't really know what is the truth and what opportunities there are for them out there.
Gosh, definitely.
Yeah. So, it's always best to ask or to investigate on your own instead of just, assuming or believing someone who may have had a bad experience because of who knows what, but, not just accepting that, but seeing for yourself if it's something that may work for you, actually, that may not work for someone else. But, Shirin,
Right.
you are CEO of this company, do you, feel that being a woman in this position gives you a certain viewpoint on how to run this type of business and really gives you an advantage? I'm just wondering because a lot of times we don't always hear about women CEOs, the head of something like this, and just wondering if you feel you have some certain insights that you're bringing to the table, maybe that otherwise, the average CEO that we're all used to may not have.
Well, that's interesting because I think there is an advantage, or there are advantages.
Mm-hmm.
One is truly understanding the challenge with work-life balance because I live it. Not to say a male CEO wouldn't, but generally speaking, for women, it's a bit more difficult, and it's probably a bit more of a concern to hit that home life balance. So in that sense, I understand it because I've lived it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I've lived it and I understand it, I can more create, in my opinion, systems that allow others to be able to do the same. That's one. The other is when somebody looks at me from outside, the profile, the female, all of those things that they may look at, they may either pass judgments or question. And being in the place that I am, I've always operated I'm an entrepreneur. I'm someone who comes from the background I come from, and my goal is to bring value to others and do good by others. And regardless of what people may or may not think of me, it just doesn't matter as long as I do right in the world, that I will end up in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
So that is important because it effectively has opened me up to see others the same way. I have always thought that it's important to hear others out, to be flexible to their challenges and their ideas, and sometimes the most brilliant ideas come from the most unexpected sources. And because of the fact that, getting to where I am probably has been a little bit more challenging for a number of reasons, female being one of them, that I'm as well understanding of others and their plight. And most importantly, I'm open to their suggestions and ideas. I don't dismiss anybody because I know that, everybody has a potential.
That's an excellent point, Shirin, and talking to other entrepreneurs, as I have, I hear similar things. So, everybody brings something different to the table, and, opening up and hearing other points of view is only going to make what you create much stronger, as opposed to just having one point of view and thinking, well, that's it. So I think there's a definite advantage, and I can see exactly, what you're saying, because it's something I hear echoed from others as well. So, we're kind of winding this up because I know I want to appreciate that you've taken the time from your busy day to join me. But I just want to, ask, we've covered so many wonderful topics. Is there, as we wind up here, are there any final thoughts that you feel you wanted to share, or anything we haven't talked about? And you please let people know where they can find out more about your company, or if they're looking for opportunities. I hope that you'll share that as well.
First of all, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak to and about home franchise concepts and a little bit about myself. It was wonderful. I appreciate all that you do. It's very great to see. I don't know if there is much that we didn't cover. I just want to encourage anybody out there who really wants to take ownership of their lives to give it a try. I would say that one thing as an entrepreneur that's important is it's good to, or an enterprising individual, it's good to hear other people. It's good to hear their feedback, but know that you need to chart your own course. And if you decide to chart your own course, a really good option is to go with a franchise system because you can take advantage of the systems and the intelligence and the history behind you. With that being said, we have multiple websites. We do have www.homefranchiseconcepts.com. You are welcome to check out budgetlines.com, tailoredliving.com, concretecraft.com, and of course you can get to all of those from homefranchiseconcepts.com. So thank you very much, and I really wish you and all of your listeners lots of success.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you as well, because I really love to talk to women who are out here doing it, because I think it's such an encouragement to others who are listening in and wondering if they can also strike out, or, as we were saying, people who may feel a little isolated because they don't know other people who are in business and feeling sometimes that they don't know who to ask, or just alone because they don't know other people to talk to about what they're going through. So, I'm always happy to speak to entrepreneurs who come and share their stories and their journey. And I find that, so many, and I could say all of you, are always so excited about what you're doing, and it's really contagious. So, sounds really exciting and powerful, and so many great opportunities for everyone to really dive into and create their own businesses and yet have something there to support them as well. So I want to thank you so much, Shirin, for being here and for your opportunities and everything you're doing.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thanks for joining us. You can also join in the conversation on Facebook.com/Women Entrepreneurs and on the website WomenEntrepreneurSecrets.com. And don't forget to listen in on dvcoach.podomatic.com and on iTunes.